Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Brian's Horror Corner, and welcome to this Masters of Horror Season 1 episode review video as part of my current February 2024 series, where I'm taking a look and reviewing all 13 episodes from the first season before ranking them at the end of the month. So today we're going to take a look at a pretty memorable episode, and that's episode 4 from Season 1, entitled Jenifer. Of course, they're all part of this Masters of Horror Season 1 DVD pack that I have here. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and get into Jenifer. So, Jenifer is the fourth episode of the first season of Masters of Horror. It originally aired in North America on November 18th, 2005. It was directed by Dario Argento and written and starring Steven Weber. Jenifer is loosely adapted from a 10-page black and white comic book story written by Bruce Jones and illustrated by Bernie Wrightson that originally appeared in issue number 63 of the horror anthology titled Creepy. So basically, this film opens. Steven Weber plays Frank Spivey, a police officer who's sitting in his squad car having lunch upon stumbling, or not stumbling upon, but seeing a crazed man dragging this woman with a meat cleaver onto the ground, and he intervenes and ends up shooting this guy and being drawn to this young woman. Now, the thing to know about this young woman is she's got an attractive body, but not a very attractive face. It's very horrifically disfigured, basically, is what he finds out. But despite this, he finds him affectionately drawn to her. And so then, basically, as the show goes on, he feels sort of a responsibility towards her, if you will, and he ends up trying to find a place for her to live, and he can't, and he ends up taking her into his own home, frightening his wife and his son. But yeah, he just can't get rid of her. He's just drawn to her. And eventually they end up getting involved romantically, sexually. I shouldn't say not romantically, really. And it kind of goes from there. But this woman Jenifer's got more than meets the eye. More than just a disfigured face, she also enjoys the taste of flesh. And I'll just leave it at that. So that's kind of the setup and the premise. As far as the cast goes, we have Steven Weber as Frank Spivey, Carrie Ann Fleming as Jenifer, Brenda James as Ruby, Harris Allen as Pete, and Beau Starr as Chief Charlie. Beau Starr was actually the Sheriff Meeker from the Halloween 4 and 5 movies earlier in his career. This is about 16 years after that. So that's the setup, the premise, and the cast for Jenifer, episode 4 from season 1 of Masters of Horror. I really enjoyed this episode. I knew going into it, a lot of people had talked about this, about being one of the better episodes of the season, and boy, it sure was. It was, it definitely stands out, that's for sure. I can't really think of an episode like it. So let's just get into the things that I really liked about this episode and why it stands out so much. So, starting with the pros, the fact that it's a memorable episode. And I would say it's one of the most memorable horror episodes of any horror anthology series or show. You're not going to forget it. I mean, it's not a forgettable episode because it's very well conceived. Simple premise executed very well. That's the best way to sum this episode up. It's you have this woman with a disfigured face and attractive body that gets guys that are like enticed and attracted to her, drawn to her. Um, but she also does some very disturbing stuff, as this episode would prove. It just covers all the bases there as far as being a well-conceived premise, but also executed very well. Then you got to talk about the character of Jenifer herself. The look and the sounds of this character make this a really effective, grotesque, and creepy character in this episode. Amazing practical makeup effects for Jenifer's face, with the mouth, the eyes, the teeth. There's nothing fake or cartoonish about it. There's a realism to it in terms of somebody being disfigured that makes it even creepier in a lot of ways. Just really effective the way that they did the makeup effects or the prosthetics or whatever they did. She's got this mouth that's like, teeth showing down here, and it's like, you have to see the episode, and then her eyes are really like black and just the whole look just completely works, and it really makes this episode very, very effective with that look. Hats off to the practical effects department for this episode. Um, this episode has some amazing gore scenes with the character of Jenifer literally devouring anything and everybody that she comes across, basically, other than Steven Weber's character, Frank Spivey, because that's the one that she's kind of got her meat hooks in, if you will. No pun intended, but kind of intended. Um, but yeah, they don't hold anything back in this episode. It's blood and gore aplenty. So if you're somebody that's looking for an hour long or less show or movie, and you're a really big gore hound, I would recommend this episode to the utmost, because you literally see people's bodies being torn apart, intestines being eaten, a lot of blood, a lot of gore. It's just yeah, like I said, they don't hold back for anything. So there's also a ton of nudity and pretty graphic, and at times kind of gross because of the character involved sex scenes throughout the episode. So yeah, if you're all about gore and nudity and sex, then this episode is absolutely going to be up your alley. But this episode, even more so than the ones that I've reviewed previously, which they all sort of have their bouts of nudity and a little bit of sex in them. But boy, this episode takes it to about 11 on a scale of 10 here, I thought. Some other things that I really like that they don't give too much away as far as the character of Jenifer is concerned. And to me, this is what makes the episode the most effective. Because a lot of times, whether it's a villain or you know, somebody trying to save the day, they always reveal too much. Mostly about the evil, the bad guys, the villains. They always reveal too much, but with Jenifer, you don't really know where she came from, how it is that she can entrance guys to be drawn to her despite her facial features. You know, you don't know exactly what happened to her face. Was she born this way? They never really give any of that away, and because of that, it's just a very effective, horrific episode. You know, if they would have done if they would have done some sort of exposition dump on what happened to her, like if a character came from the outside that knew her when she was born, and they gave an exposition dump. Oh, this is why she does this. This is who she. That would have taken away from the episode. But the fact they don't have this, and it kind of leaves the character or the audience not really sure where this character came from, who she is, or why she does what she does, just makes it all that more effective from a horror standpoint. So that's probably my biggest pro, actually. It just has the right amount of intrigue and mystery surrounding that character, which makes for a really effective horror writing, quite frankly. I like the whole. My apologies, excuse me. I like the whole full cycle nature of the episode, where it starts with a guy trying to kill a woman and another intervening, and and the episode ends the same way, basically. I'm not going to tell you who the characters are that are involved, but I just think it makes for a really well paced, tight story that's incredibly engaging throughout. Dang, I got a frog in my throat here. So yeah, lots to like about Jenifer. Those are my pros for Jenifer episode 4. As far as my few cons that I have, there are a few slow moments within the second act where I thought they could have shortened up some of the scenes a bit. A lot of side characters also that aren't really fleshed out or given much to do. His wife and his son. I mean, the most we get with them is when they see Jenifer come into their house, and they're kind of revolted by her look and stuff, and who she is and why she's there. But for the most part, even Beau Starr only has like a 2-minute scene or something. But again, I understand the point of this episode. It really focuses on two characters, Jenifer and Frank Spivey. And the other ones are just kind of there in the background. And then finally, you know, some of the characters, as normal, make dumb decisions for plot convenience sake. I'm mainly talking about a teenage boy towards the end of the show, where he spots this woman, who of course is Jenifer, in the woods. He's at a party and he goes after her, which I'm not sure that's the smartest thing to do. But again, it's horror. It's a character in horror that doesn't make the best decisions. So, and then finally, I would have liked a little bit more explained or explored, not regarding the character of Jenifer, but the cut that Frank Spivey gets from Jenifer. Now, my guess is this is a cut that causes it's like an infection or it's like her mark on a guy that causes him to be drawn to her. That's my feeling. I think that's what they were going for. But if they would have just a couple of maybe a little explanation on that, even though I think that's what it is, just to have that confirmation. Like I said, I don't want to. I'm not somebody that wants a lot explained, as I mentioned in my pros, and they don't. But I think that's one area where the cut, they just kind of show it at the beginning and then you don't see it again. Like I said, I'm guessing that's her how she marks a guy to the point where he's helpless with her, basically. So those are the only cons that I really have. They're pretty nitpicky for Jenifer. Episode 4 from season 1 of Masters of Horror. Um, Overall, I really enjoyed this episode, though. I'm going to give this episode a 9 out of 10. It's definitely one of the best episodes of this series that I've watched and reviewed so far. I'm about halfway through. I think this was the seventh episode that I watched and reviewed. So I got about half to go, 6 to go. But yeah, 9 out of 10 for Jenifer, for episode 4 from season 1 of Masters of Horror. Go ahead and comment down below what you guys think of Jenifer. If you've seen it, do you like it as much as I do? More, less, why not? Please like this video, hit the little notification bell down below so you don't miss any of my upcoming reviews for this series. And please be sure to subscribe to my channel as well so you don't miss any of my great horror content. Not only the rest of this series, but what I have coming out the rest of the year, which is a lot of great horror content for you guys. So I hope you'll stay tuned for that. But with that being said, I hope everybody's doing well. Hope you're enjoying this review series and this particular review. And as always, stay scared. Bye.